Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. Today in fingerboard geometry, we're going to be looking at caged fingerings for the major pentatonic scale. First, we'll go over the fingerings and then we'll do some exercises. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. All right, today in fingerboard geometry, we're going to talk about the major pentatonic scale. I have a book called Fingerboard Geometry number 3, and it addresses pentatonic scales. So I thought now would be a good time to get into pentatonic scales. The term pent means 5 and tonic means note, so we're talking about 5-note scales here, as opposed to the normal 7 notes that you would have in the major scale. So the major pentatonic leaves out 2 notes from the major scale, and those would be the 4th and 7th degrees. The 4th and 7th degrees within the major scale create half steps, so the major pentatonic has no half steps. So one way to go about understanding your major pentatonic is to look at your major scale shapes and drop out the 4th and 7th degree. You can compare those shapes back and forth. You may or may not already know your major scale patterns. This works for those of you who know your major scales. I will present the comparison here. If I have a G major scale in the caged E pattern that's here, and I drop the 4 and 7, I end up with the major pentatonic now that looks like this. I then can continue up the fretboard to the other caged pattern. So for instance, a G major scale in the D shape looks like, here's our D pattern or D octave pattern. The D pattern of the major scale looks like this. And G major pentatonic D pattern would be this. Now I'm talking about the C form. There's the octave shape. Again, if I play the G major scale, it looks like this. And if I drop the 4 and 7, I have this pattern. I'm on to the A form of the root G. So A octave pattern looks like that. And I'm still on G, so here's my G major scale. And my G major pentatonic. A form of G, and now I'm to my last form, and this would be the G form, and the octave shape looks like this, and the major scale would be this. G major pentatonic in the G form would be this. So I'm dropping again the 4s and the 7s. Now let's look at another root and maybe talk about a different way to approach understanding the major pentatonic scale. Another way to look at the major pentatonic scale is to take something that we've already studied in fingerboard geometry and add 2 notes to it. That would be the major triad. So right now I'm talking about the caged major triad. So if I have a D major triad, let's say in the C form, so here's my C octave shape, and I play a D major triad. root is here, and let's just say I walk up the triad 1, 3, 5. The major pentatonic adds the 2 and the 6 to this. So using some of the interval knowledge that we have from studying fingerboard geometry, we could add the 2 in. So here's 1, 2, here's the 3, here's the 5, and then the 6 is just a whole step up from the 5. So here's the octave. Sounds just like My Girl. So again, the major pentatonic is the same as a major triad with a 2 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. That's the octave. So I'm going to now go through each of the caged patterns for D. Again, you can think about your major triad and then add in the 2 and 6. So again, one more time. D major triad. D major pentatonic. And that would be in the C form. Now onto the A form. Here's the root pattern. A-shaped octave pattern. Here's the triad. So that was my A-shaped D triad. Now I'm going to add in the notes and make it a D major pentatonic. Now I'm on to the G form. That's my G octave shape, and let's try for the G-shaped D triad. And now I'm going to add in the 2 and the 6, and we'll have major pentatonic. And now for the E form of D, octave shape is this. And then I will have the triad. It's the E form of a D major triad. Now I'm adding in the 2 and 6. And finally, the D shape of D. Here's the octave. And here is the triad arpeggio. And now we're going to add in the pentatonic notes. That's the 2nd and 6th scale degree. So that's the D form of D major pentatonic. Now, let's get a look at what we're going to do for the exercises. So for the exercises, I suggest that you play major pentatonic patterns through the circle. What we'll do is play all 5 patterns for each of the roots. So the circle of fourths starts at C and then goes C, F, B flat, etc. I'll leave the order on screen here. But let me show you how I'm going to perform each of these exercises. I'm going to start with kind of the lowest pattern I could play. I mean, with C, I could use open strings and play an open C pentatonic pattern, but I'm going to leave that one off and just go with closed patterns since we're still kind of learning them. So I'm going to start with the A pattern. So I'm down toward the nut end of the guitar, and I will start on a cage pattern and then play all 5 cage patterns up the fretboard. And what I'm going to do is start on the root and play up to the top of the pattern, double the note at the top of the pattern, play the bottom pattern, and back to the root. It's important because you need to know where the roots of these pentatonics are. So again, here is the first pattern. I'll do the first couple patterns and then I'll just cut to the exercises. So C in the A form. So I'm starting at the root. go from there, the A form is connected to the G form. So here I go, starting at the root, again C in the G form. Then I would continue and go up to the E form of C and the D form of C and the C form of C. And after I finish the root C, I would go on to the next root in this circle of fourths. So I've got a few examples for you here in the exercises. Let's get a look. That's it for Caged Major Pentatonic Scales. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.